Hello folks, I'm Fonze. This is a BPPT run of Wayfarer by Jabba, E1M6. I just ran this one the other day, and it was really fun on Smite Meister, so I figured I'd give Black Plate because this is the shot, and this is what happened. I actually recorded this, the playing before, and I'm commenting over top of it. For any real particular reason. But hopefully, not having to concentrate on playing would at least let me give a little bit more interesting commentary of what's kind of going on. Because this is quite hectic. I mean, I don't know if it quite looks as bad as it felt. But it is definitely a projectile hell. In the purest of senses, I'm sure. It doesn't help when you're clumsy, you know. But this map was a lot of fun to run. Oh yeah, there's a spot where I can get stuck in here, unfortunately. I actually found a kind of convenient way of getting out of here. I was surprised I lived through it. Oh, you know, one thing that sucks about watching demos before is you can't see what item I selected. You can't tell exactly what I had planned. I may have to remember that for the future. It's a bit upsetting. But running this map, the routing of it definitely becomes very important. Because as you can see, everything is very, very high stress when under this difficulty. And there are just way too many enemies, there's way too much going on for you to stand still. Even the beginning, the very first teleporter, if you don't immediately run, you will probably be hit. And some of that RNG based, of course, enemies only fire when they decide to fire. But over enough tries, you can see where the average is. The average is you basically just better get your ass moving. And you can see right there, I wound up doing a little circle in the area, and that doubling back wound up creating a huge problem. So that's something that you don't necessarily want to do. Let me get my mouse out of the screen. And I actually got fairly lucky there to not pretty much immediately die in the middle. But you can see just how kind of hectic it is, and how many enemies there are, and just how all of them fire. And all of them do just a lot of damage. They all start firing pretty much immediately. Occasionally they will fire literally immediately. We'll see a couple of those later. But a lot of this kind of play right here is just kind of figuring out, in terms of just routing, where should I go first. Obviously just the straightforward approach of attacking everybody right away, just right off the bat, is probably not going to work. So here in the beginning, what I was focusing on was just finding some secrets. I had to choose most of these secrets. I looked at Doom Builder, and even in Doom Builder, some of them are still difficult to understand. There is one secret in this map that I just have to give, like, total props to. I don't know how it wasn't NJ's favorite secret of the map. He mentioned his favorite secret of the map being the ring secret, which is that little waterfall up there on the top left of the screen as I teleport in. That's where the ring is. And that's a pretty cool secret. It's actually really interesting. That one was really fun to find out. But one of them that you'll see me use in the run, the run that actually makes it pretty far in the map, you'll wind up seeing me do probably the most interesting secret I think I've ever seen. I think it's probably my favorite secret of any Doom or Heretic map ever. And I don't know how this has not been a thing before. It probably has been. It's probably been done before, but it's the first time I've really seen it. Yes, first on left side. I don't think I would forget about something like that. So this is me going for another secret right here. Just trying to find out some form of routing. I forgot which way to go. I was supposed to go the other way, but it didn't matter. I wouldn't have made it. A lot of this is still just me kind of poking around and trying to develop a feel for the areas, as well as just a flow to how I'm going to go throughout the map, even once I do start firing. Trying to figure out which direction to go. You'll see me do a little bit more experimenting with that later on. But some areas of the map are particularly tricky to run through in certain directions. It's a nice little shot of the boss encounter right there. It's a cool little secret. Unfortunately, this secret doesn't really do too much for me. I was thinking that I could possibly use this as a safe zone once I got enough infighting provoked to give some monsters a chance to kill each other. Because I think I went in there with something like 9 monsters dead, and it was 16 by the time I came out. So it could possibly be used for a chance just to let monsters kill each other, as well as letting monsters just kind of all congregate over in a particular area and kind of all bunch up. Certain advantages in slaughter maps to having a kind of safe place to just let time go by and let the monsters just develop and kind of just all be stupid and huddle together, or kill each other, whatever is going on. Just give the situation time to develop. I don't wind up using that for the rest of the run though. And that's not for any real particular reason other than it was not viable at any particular point in time, or at the very least I didn't survive long enough for it to become ever viable, except for a couple of times, but at that point it's just not really worth it to do. That spot right there in particular is one of those spots that it's a little bit difficult to run through from that particular direction. But from the way that I see this map, at least on the strategy end of things, is that, I mean, even on Smite Master, there's no point in engaging the ground troops. The ground troops are really just there to create pressure while you clear up all of the turrets, because there are so many turrets to clear up, you know, and clearing turrets just in general is a process that's a little bit tedious in and of itself. So that jump right there got me so many times in both my Smite Meister and in this run, because if you don't hit the rock in front of the jump, and you don't take that jump really quickly, you will miss it. I mean, there's two ways kind of to get across that gap, but the approach that's like, you know, from going slower, from going faster, but the approach that's in the middle, that middle speed, kind of seems to fail a lot. But so anyway, there's a lot of turrets. So of course your goal is going to be, you're going to want to get rid of the turrets. Of course, the main priority turrets are going to be those nitro golems for their homing projectiles. The undead warriors you can pretty much ignore for the entire map if you wanted to. Unless your goal is to create safe spots for yourself, or you know, to max it. Otherwise, you could just totally ignore them. And even the nitro golems, you could mostly ignore them too. I got to this fight and I realized I hadn't fired yet, so they didn't trip off. But I wanted to see how this fight would go on BPPT. I kind of forgot where most of the enemies spawned in at, so I didn't really last too long. I don't think I even got time to heal, and I didn't even get time to heal. I don't know how I'm going to do that fight. That's going to be difficult. I really don't want to approach it from the side of like sort of breaking the map with like going in there and getting the green key and then running out before ever firing. But if I can't find any other way, I'm gonna have to do that. We'll see. I expect that to change in the next beta though, so I might not ever get a chance to test that strategy. And here, basically what I'm doing is I'm tripping the line for the doors to open up and for the enemies to start teleporting in for that pickup. Because the line is before the shield. It's a lot. Well, I should say it's easy to trip. And yeah, you can see that's one of the spots where it's really dangerous to kind of double back on where you're going. There's just so many projectiles in the air at any given time. And they move so fast. The enemies fire. You can see how fast even individual enemies are firing. They're all like machine guns, or at least the combined effect of them. I mean, look at how many of that one nitro rolling is right now. That's one of the really interesting things about this difficulty. But so in terms of the routing, one thing that I've kind of figured that seems to work best. And you'll see as this goes on a little bit, I'll start firing when I first spawn and giving some tries like that. And basically what it comes down to is a lot of the enemies teleport in the map when you get into a particular area. They teleport into that area. But of course, you have to fire in order to open up. So as long as you don't fire enough, none of these enemies will wake up to come out. So you can see now they're all going to start teleporting around, except for in the areas that I've already been to. The areas I've already been to, I've already tripped those lines. So as soon as I fired, those enemies all automatically went out. Because their pathway was open to do so. Just a catch. And so one of the things that I found that seemed to work best for this map was to basically start off by running straight for the area with the green key. That's pretty much going to be the first stop of things. It would be great to be able to trick it'd be great to be able to trick the secret over there to get to that all around the cliffs. I suppose it would probably also be smart to run up the stairs and lower all the, when you jump out the window there, you'll see in this map there's a whole bunch of the sigils. For people who are familiar with Heretic and not familiar with this map, you'll see a whole bunch of these like kind of bluish items around. Like there's one right there to my left. I guess I didn't turn it up. But those are called sigils. They're an artifact added from this mod. So they're not a vanilla Heretic one. So if you're familiar with Heretic, not familiar with this mod, that would be a new one. Otherwise, everything I guess just looks new anyway. But those right there, they're basically like the book, like a ton of power, but it's immediate use, so it's used as soon as you pick it up, and it doesn't last. I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds or something like that, maybe 15. But that was one of them that was there behind the gauntlets that I didn't pick up right there with the Molotov. And you'll see a whole bunch of them on some platforms, or on some columns throughout this map, and when you jump out that window right there, it lowers all of them. And that's meant to help speed up cleanup of the entire map, because, you know, being short time limit that they last and immediate use on kick basically means that you just use them for wherever they're at. Just whatever's next to them, that's what you use. So it's a really cool addition to the whole Heretic gameplay, I thought, that this mod added. That was one thing I really liked. I'd actually like to see something similar with the rings. I've already talked to NJ about that. And he said he was thinking the same thing, he was cooking something up. But you see there's one of them there on that platform. There's another cool thing about this map is that while there are some vials, like you see I was passing there, there's also quite a bit of the health items that just go straight in your inventory. There's like 3 urns or something like that that are just scattered throughout this large area, which is free to pick up. A whole bunch of flasks. And that's a really cool way of balancing a map like this. To just give you a whole bunch of health, and like this is really nice health for a map. This is what you got. Make good use of it. So you see this is one area right there. If I wanted to go and grab that silver shield, which was actually what I was thinking as I was running over there, those saber claws come out. I didn't mean to grab that sigil of power right there. So I figured I'd just suicide. And so at this point, I started to piece together that maybe the best way to run would be to go towards the Molotov. And actually looking at it right now, I don't remember if I wound up keeping that as the place that I always ran to or not. I think I did. But as you can see, it puts you closest to this area right here, which is where you need to go. And it gives you that good Phoenix rod, as well as a couple of flasks. Yeah, that was just a stupid place to stand. Still trying to work out my route. Actually, I think I wound up not grabbing that Mystic Urn in most runs after the, like, what do you call them runs? After this. This one that ends in an unfortunate death. And rewatching it, actually, it might be good to do that. See, part of the problem with this is that this beginning becomes kind of tedious to do 100,000 times in a row, because it's just, you gotta do a lot of steps in order to get yourself prepared, and in the process of doing all those steps, it's very easy to die. And when I say tedious, I don't necessarily mean that in a way that makes it not fun, because this one is it's so pressuring that it just keeps you engaged throughout all of what could otherwise be tedious, or even what is tedious. You're just constantly engaged, so it makes it a lot of fun too. But there are certainly a lot of little steps. See, when the saber claws appearing where they do, even if they don't make it over to the shield or anywhere to block you, they still prevent you from going over to that side where they are. Give a chance for your projectiles, so you don't have a chance to do any sort of a loop to get out of that area where those projectiles are coming. But there are a lot of steps that you have to do in this, and the route that I wound up working out probably has more of those than any of the other routes that I tried. It's a bit unfortunate, but in a map like this, you really got to set everything up right, because otherwise you're going to be in a really, really rough spot. I mean, I suppose with enough familiarity of where the monsters are all coming from, you can probably get by fairly well without having to do everything that I'm planning, but I just don't have enough familiarity with everything to fight all of the spots that I need to avoid, or the areas that I need to only approach from a particular angle, etc. But you see, that's an example of one of those, one of the enemies that teleports in just as you enter an area. So I hadn't crossed any of the other minecrafts that teleported in until that point. And so that was kind of the point where I think I started to just say that, you know, pretty much I'm going to do it this way, because not firing gives me a chance to go around the map and collect stuff, and it also gives me a chance to determine when all the monsters will come out and where I'll be in relation to where they're coming out, which is perhaps the most important aspect of that, because it doesn't do me any good to be far away from it. See, and I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have doubled back those, and perhaps got a little bit greedy. Actually, you know, it's not so bad approaching it from there and taking cover in that little cubby hole, getting the extra flask. Future runs, I wound up just deciding to get all those flasks on 2 passes instead of trying to get them all in one, being a little too greedy. Just wound up taking too much damage. But one thing I will note is that on the run I did well on, I wound up using pretty much all the armor that was allotted to me. So that is something that's a lot more interesting about this map and this difficulty as compared to the one below it, which is essentially the same thing, but the monster is just only 3 times as fast. And here I remembered that there was a hell stack. Good job. You can see all the projectiles, it's insane. I don't know why I doubled back. And there you can see once again how dangerous it is to ever stop moving in a particular area and double back where you just walked. And with a lot of these nitro golems, I noticed, I mean, I guess it's probably, a little more obvious when I say it than it seems like in the game. I guess because if you're used to playing on Snipe Meister, you can pretty well just, you know, run any direction, and as long as you're running full speed, they're probably not going to hit you. But on this one, you definitely, with the projectiles moving as fast as they do, you definitely can't run directly at any nitro golem. You'll just eat all of the shots that come at you. So in terms of routing, I haven't pieced it together yet in this run, but I do a little later on. Which armor you want to grab first? I mean, obviously I don't have quite a perfect map in my head in terms of what items to grab and when to grab them. Like that Mystic Urn after the flask in the beginning, just kind of noticed that. So there's still a lot of planning that I do have to do on that, but not doubling back around, that's not good. But I think I have at least got kind of what armor you want to grab first. And it's not that one by the hammer. And I actually wind up dying to it a little later on, and that's kind of where the point that I decided. That one by the armor, from this route, I get to it so quickly. And in between that and the next armor, I don't really take that much damage. So, at one point I wound up deciding to, I run by the armor, I decide to skip it, and then I take a little bit of damage, I try to double back and grab it, and just the one by the hell stack I'm talking about. And I wound up dying because I doubled back on the way I was running. And it just made me realize that that armor's really not in a very optimal position for that to happen, and running away from the hull stack is one of those areas that it's easy to take some damage. Particularly right here, you see, because there's not a lot of room for me to do a loop, and to get out of the path of all the projectiles that have already been shot at me on the way over. So, and it looks like at this point I was trying to find the pause button. I couldn't find that. So it'll probably just be a few minutes of me just talking here, which I guess is fine, but if you're just interested in the gameplay, you're probably going to want to skip forward by at least like a few minutes. I had to take a short break while I was doing this. But either way, zDoom records the entire thing anyway, so even if I would have paused it, it would have been the same damn thing of just watching it wait. Because there's no demo controls in zDoom, but that's a conversation for another time. Anyway, so like going back to the whole, just the routing of the entire map, from what it seems to me, you're going to want to run basically straight back from where you teleport into here at the spawn. You run towards the gauntlets there, you go make your way, you know, whatever items you decide to grab, you wind up making your way over to the green key area. From there, you continue around the area, what is it, to the right, following it right around, so that would be counterclockwise. You continue around counterclockwise all the way around the map. Can I do this? Sweet, I can. Can I do this? No. Okay. I was gonna try and pull the map up, but I don't think I'm able to. So from there you continue counterclockwise around the map, and along the way you wind up grabbing a mystic urn, and you also wind up passing by quite a few things, but you have to grab that mystic urn. That's important, because after you grab the shield, you need that mystic urn, because by that point you will have taken enough damage to necessitate its use. In the process, you don't want to have fired at all, because you need all the enemies that are on the ground, all the ones that are going to teleport in, you need them not to be there. In particular, the ones right there by that silver shield, the one that you do grab, because they're going to limit the space that you have to move around once you grab that silver shield and as you head over there. So those ones are going to be very important not to go after, or not to teleport in. So you wouldn't want to have fired by that point. I will make a quick comment on the aesthetics of this map. It's a very, very beautiful map. I love how imposing and grand all the architecture is. It's just really, really cool. It's really well designed map. And the combat actually works itself really well at this point to BPPT, in addition to Smitmeister. So it's cool that it's kind of worked out like that. Although most of these maps are like extremely difficult on BPPT, because the author's goal was basically not to care about that. The author's goal was to build it for Smitmeister, and for Smitmeister to be the difficult setting, which I guess treats BPPT more as like the nightmare kind of extra challenge type of mode, which is good. I mean, that type of balancing has worked out to this type of a gameplay, which is actually really, I mean, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. But it also makes for some encounters that are either close to impossible or really, really difficult. Just require a lot of routing. And I wouldn't even term this beginning as one of those. But like the boss fight, if you look at the boss fight in the Smitmeister video that I did of this, and apparently that section is not finished. So there is no way out of that area. So I was supposed to clip and grab the key because this is still a beta and it's not finished, and I guess I should have probably figured that out sooner. But that aside, that boss fight would be probably impossible, I'm guessing, without a ring. But there is a ring in this map, luckily. So on my route on this, before I get to that boss encounter, I'm going to grab the ring, and I'm probably going to use both the ring and the book. In that, either that or I might use the book in the Lightbringer area. That might be what I have to do. But going back to kind of just the routing of this. Oh, look at that! I'm going. So when I figure out I need to just be going straight back. Awesome, good job, man. Alright, so I'm learning. Anyway, so as you move around this area, the Phoenix Rod is probably one of the most important things to grab, because it gives you just a quick way of killing all of the turrets. Especially the Nitro Golem turrets that are probably the most important when you do start firing. But the goal before you start firing, is to just make your way all the way around the map. And so here you have a couple of choices depending on your health, whether or not you want to go for time bombs on the right or health on the left. That's the Mystic Urn that you grab going along this. You probably want to get those flasks before you go and grab either the shield or the hammer, but that's the shield that, the way I see it, you probably should skip in the beginning. And then I want here to trip that line. So that's kind of the general way that, actually, I think that's probably the general way that I went about this. This might actually have been the one that actually made it decently far, or that might have been, there might be a few guys around that. But this is the area right here where you just take a second to kind of let the projectiles die out and give yourself a spot to be able to run back out where it's clear. You don't want to spend too long here. I was trying to find the pause button there. I could not find the pause button, so I know I haven't kept something. But it really doesn't matter. It helps a little bit for this because zDoom won't let you pause the game and escape. In demos, you have to actually use the pause feature, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not too big of a deal. But that area is basically you can kind of just take a moment to just get your bearings and breathe for a moment and let everything die out. But you can't take too long there. Not only like the enemies coming through the door, but the disciples coming through the door. And that's kind of one of those areas where I gotta say this map use some gargoyles. There's no gargoyles in this map. I didn't even realize that until MJ told me that. But yeah, there's no gargoyles in this map, and they are slowly out. I think they could do some good. We got kind of lucky on the commentary, but obviously it didn't matter. Oh, okay, I did save it right there. Alright, yes, that was where I saved it. I wound up saving it because I actually had a decent run around. Oh, and that was the point where I decided that I was going to fire. So this is the secret right here. This is the best secret ever. Literally the best thing fucking ever. Like, I don't know how this was not a thing before. But it should have been. And this is also the run that makes it the close. After this run, I pretty much, I have like a couple of, I try again a couple of times. I want to get that. At least because I had a far enough one where I just wanted to see pretty much how it was going to play out. I didn't really care if I could do it right now, because I'm going to be probably playing through it again. And I talked to you before. And I don't know if you could see it or not, but there was, if you didn't, rewind right there, because that was the best secret. There was basically you have to turn an enemy into a chicken, and then they go through that little spot with the teleporter on the ground level that has the ceilings lowered down, so that only a chicken can fit in there. And from there they get teleported up onto the top area, and you have to just kind of wait for them and kind of lead them over under the two little areas that are too the ceiling's too low for anything to fit under chickens. So they're kind of barriers for anything other than chickens, and you got to kind of guide them under that, and you just sit there and watch them, and it's extremely entertaining and adorable. That's great. Major props for that. What's that? That is probably the most entertaining scene I don't think I've seen anything that creative before. So anyway, enough gushing about that secret. The adorable birds. At this point, I have pretty much established this run as actually making it. I do take a few pretty bad hits here and there, but I'm doing good enough in this run to stay alive. And to be able to run around the map. I've pretty well determined by this point what direction to run through each area. Like you saw, I ran through that area with the saber claws and that missed turn right before getting to here, counterclockwise instead of clockwise like I had been doing in the beginning of the map. Little things like that, approaching certain areas from certain directions seem to work the best. At this point, I was just kind of arbitrarily clearing this out just for a little bit of breathing room. Still no idea how I'm going to approach that area. It's going to be extremely tough. But these maps are not really designed, not really balanced for this difficulty setting. So this difficulty setting is kind of just more to have fun than anything else. Not to be taken too seriously. I'm not going to say that there aren't any flaws whatsoever with this because of anything on this difficulty setting. Like anything that happens in this difficulty setting is just what happens. This is not what this is balanced for. But it does make for a damn fun time. And it really, especially on something like this where it's just, I mean, I'm not going to say it's unbalanced, but it is just so difficult to balance. I guess we'll just say that. It wasn't balanced for this difficulty setting. But it balances itself. Because it gives you extra ammo. And Heretic, you're already overpowered and you just have so many options as a player that this just, because of the way that it is and because of how difficult it is, just how stressful, how highly pressuring it is, with monsters just being so much faster, which also makes them a lot more aggressive. They fire a lot more often. I mean, you can see pretty much all the turrets are just straight firing the entire time. Like, they don't spend hardly any time moving between the walls. So it makes it so you really have to utilize your strategy as a Heretic player to its fullest. That's one of the things that I love the most about this, and one of the reasons why I wish a lot of mappers would take this difficulty setting a lot more seriously. Because, like, this is what Heretic should be. I mean, if you're at all worried about Heretic being like way too consistent than the other difficulty settings, this is literally your answer. Because this also forces the player to really incorporate a lot more strategy in the way that they handle their items, the way that they handle their routing. Like, there would be no way to beat this map, I don't think, unless you are, I mean, if you're just a really, really good player, if you're just that solid, that you can handle all this. You know, I mean, I'm sure there are quite a few players that can. I can't. So, at least for me, this. See right there, that thing blocked me. I had to double back this way because I was afraid of running over any of those things and pretty much it being an instant death. I like that the trail still does damage, so that it kind of has that. If anybody remembers the old school worm game, you know, running into your tail, just kind of being boxed in, where you can wind up getting cornered because the Molotov effectively cuts off area from you. But anyway, going back into it, it's a lot more emphasis on routing and on just proper item management, being able to use items effectively, being able to manage inventory on the fly, and to some degree, there's less managing your inventory on the fly in BPPT than there is in Smitmeister, because you have far less time to do so. So a lot of it becomes more so about that kind of pre-planning, excuse me, and going into more of that routing aspect. But there are a couple of select situations where you do get a moment's respite, and you can get enough time to kind of switch back and forth between items and use what's needed at the moment. And those are really, really crucial critical moments, just as they are in Smitmeister, but almost more so in BPPT because of how rare they are and how difficult it is to actually pull off, given how just highly pressured the monsters become when they're a few times faster than they normally are. But one of the balancing factors of it is that you get 1.5 times the ammo to account for it. So in some ways, BPPT becomes almost more Doom-like than Heretic would be otherwise, just for the fact that it becomes a lot more about, just like Doom, you know, you don't have to really worry about like managing an inventory. You just have to worry about dodging projectiles effectively, being able to use your weapons effectively, prioritizing the right targets, stuff like that. I got really, really lucky right there. That guy didn't smack me in the back. Perhaps even more lucky that I didn't die from that shot. I like this little armory area. Good little place to get stocked up. Not much health in there, but I think it's probably best that way. The health is all throughout the map, but that kind of gives you just a nice little spot to grab a thing of armor and a whole bunch of ammo. Come back later to refill. And it's also a nice little safe spot from massive shitfest that's going on out here. Just all the enemies. And there I did waste a little bit of my silver shield, but after my death at the earlier armor, I figured it was best to just not even mess around with it. At this point, I figured it was probably just a good time to use it. I love the way the Hell Staff works in this mod. And it's so satisfying. So as you can see, a lot of the enemies actually wind up killing themselves. And that's one thing about this map that I don't know if it was necessarily intended to be that way. I mean, there's definitely a... I didn't grab any of the sigils in this run. And so it's kind of cool that the map just kind of does that naturally. Or I guess you can grab the sigils and just fight it out. And kill a lot more yourself. Projectile pass through like this with the splash code. But it is cool the way that you can approach it from a few different directions, and that kind of just solves. I guess you can say it solves itself. Really, if you choose to just through cowardice just run around the map and flee for your life, most of this outside area takes care of itself. And I don't think there's any way really around that. And I think it's a good thing for the most part. Because the map is still tough enough as it is. And any map that's this open in Heretic, there's only so much that you can do to control player movement. But this map did really hit the nail on the head with the fun aspect of things. Of not only letting the player just do what they want to do in terms of, you know, running around and clearing the map or fighting their way out. But also in the fact that, despite a lot of the pressure in this large area, obviously coming from the turrets, they weren't, you know, and of course turret clearing being an inherently tedious thing, the way that this map is designed, it's actually very engaging, still the entire time, which I thought was really, really cool. Really well done, and the way that the health system, the way that the health is kind of oriented, being mostly in inventory pickups, is also a very Heretic type of design, which I thought was really, really cool. And of course that adds a lot of strategy to the gameplay of this outside area, planning when you're gonna try and use health packs by, you know, if you should try and run over to the vials over there, or if you should use your flask or your urn right now. Of course, urns being a lot less generally useful than flasks. Deciding, are you gonna use your urn at like 30 health, for example, or are you gonna try and save it up till you have like 2 health? Should you just use a couple of flasks and try and get by? All sorts of stuff like that, in terms of like the strategy of the games, which is really cool. At this point, I'm mostly just clearing this area out. I totally forgot I left that golem alive up there. So he winds up getting a couple of good hits on me here in a second. Enough to scare me out of the area. And at this point, I'm pretty much just on a hunt for any and all turrets, but especially the Nitro Golem turrets. I passed up a couple of undead warriors over there. I guess I come back for them. Well, it might just be the one. I'm not sure. But at this point, I've pretty much gotten through most of this outside area. You can see most of it's cleared up. Unfortunately, this run doesn't make it very much further. This is about the end of it, I think. A little bit more. That's a little bit of a shame. It would have been nice to see kind of how some of these other encounters would have gone over. I don't think I would have made it past the green key encounter. I probably should have saved that armor for that. Although there's some other armors that I could have grabbed that I probably would have used for that one. Truthfully, I'd only need 2 other enchanted shields to make it through the rest of this map, past where I died. So if I can get, I think there's 2 more enchanted shields that I have too. So if I just got those, I think I would probably have been fine. But I don't think I would have quite made it through first attempt. I should have saved it. Probably would have kept playing if I did. But most of this was just kind of dipping my toes in just to see how this middle area would pan out. I'll go into the other areas later on. I really just wanted to see how this would be, because this just seemed like it would have been a lot of fun, and it really is. And it's interesting to think about the strategies that are needed to get through it, and it's one of those things that just makes it Heretic so unlike Doom that there's just a whole nother side to the strategy that you'll never get in Doom, and that's the inventory management and all the items and just how powerful they all can be. Time bombs a lot less so on BPPT. They're very difficult to use on projectile enemies, or I should just say ranged enemies. Melee enemies, of course, they're still really easy to use on, but the projectile enemies, or ranged enemies, they're so aggressive that it's very difficult to get close to them. I think a disciple died up there. Yeah, this was unfortunate. I remember now. I stopped to take a look. Couldn't tell if he was dead or not. That was harsh. So that's basically the end of this. I think I poke around like once or twice and call it. But I really do look forward to playing this map again in this difficulty. This is going to be a lot of fun to run through. It is very highly pressuring, and it's quite difficult. But I think with good routing, the map seems to be quite doable, and so it'll be very fun. And yeah, it looks like that's about the end of it. So if you've watched this, thank you for watching. It was definitely a lot of fun for me to play through, and I'll look forward to delving more into, I guess, the strategy end of it, and just figuring out how to route everything out and how to approach each encounter in the most optimal way, at least from what I can figure, to hopefully be able to get through that map. At this point I have to still repeat map 3 and then move on to map 4 and onward. So we'll kind of see where it goes. I still have a ways to go before I get here, but every map that I play from this set just has me more and more excited. Like, I was already pretty hyped up for it with the first 2 maps, and the second 2 came out, and I was just like, damn, this is getting even better. I didn't think it really could. And at that point, the map 5 and 9, NJ sent me over a beta of those, and I played them, and I was totally blown away. And then at this point, I haven't even gotten to map 7 yet, but even just map 6 had me so blown away by just how fun it was that I just had to do this earlier today. So it's time well spent. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully this will be an interesting watch. It's definitely fun to do. So thanks for watching, and take care.